So this all starts with Jim Jinkins, the creator of Doug. My history here is coming from a Vulture article from 2012 called You Don't Know Doug by Matthew Klickstein. Jim Jinkins grew up in Richmond, Virginia. Bluffington is a fictionalized version of Richmond. And so he went to film school, he studied animation, and he worked at Nickelodeon starting in the late 70s, and he helped develop it into a full-fledged network. He invented Doug way before he ever had any idea of what to do with the character, because he said he was just like an easy character to draw, and his version of Doug writes in his journal every day. Jim Jinkins created these single panel cartoons with Doug in them. Doug would be his alter ego, and that's how he could process the world. And he said, quote, I didn't keep a journal like Doug did. I drew. And it was definitely about this any guy, my alter ego. Some of the stuff I drew was very dark and cynical, and some of it was very silly. That was the beginning of figuring out that character.
That sounds a lot like how we spent our time in high school.
Oh my God, you're right. Because the three of us would draw ourselves in we had little comic alter ego versions of ourselves, and would often just document, would just document things that happened to us.
I didn't get to design mine. Yeah, but I didn't get to design my portrayal.
But
you sure took it back though.
Yeah, you owned it. You enthusiastically adopted it. Oh, this is where he tells me how the abuse he suffered at my hands.
Yes, I've been carrying this tragedy with me for 20-something years now.
I have many regrets.
Finally get it out.
But yeah, that didn't click with me. Yeah, we all would do that in high school. And
I can still draw you perfectly. It's harder to draw me, but I can do it still. But I can draw you perfectly.
I can draw me and Patrick perfectly. Wade was always, it's because you always had long hair and I didn't, that was a lot of work.
Takes a lot of ink.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So
we should jump back into that because we would all look the same. We just have beards now.
And when I do impressions of myself, I do the impression that we would do of me from back then. So Doug's original name was Brian. Would this show be as popular if it were called Brian? Because he just wanted a very ordinary name, but he decided Brian was too fancy of a name, so he came out with Doug. That's very good. Patrick has drawn me and is putting it up to the screen.
It's really easy. You just gotta do the circle, just a circle here, circle here.
The circles under the eyes. Yeah.
Wow.
For some reason, like the biggest.
It's like I'm looking at two of you.
The biggest bags you've ever seen.
I don't know. It captures.
And you know what? Oh, so the audience can't see this?
No, I'll show it. I can show it.
To point out. Well, and then also show this, because apparently I'm an idiot and you two are both blind. Right behind me, above the Simpsons Homer at the Bat set, is fucking Ren and Stimpy Monopoly.
Yeah, that's why I brought Ren and Stimpy up.
Right there. I forgot. I went to go get my comic book and I forgot the goddamn board game behind me.
Just
Let's need new glasses because I didn't see that.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of knuckleheads. Okay, the character of Doug evolved in Jim Jinkins' head. He even developed the alter ego of Quail Man. And you will notice in Doug Can't Dance, the pilot, at the school dance, there's just a kid in the background who is Quail Man, who is just dressed as Quail Man. So I guess he didn't have any plans to have Quail Man be in the show, but he's like, hey, this will be fun. I have this design. A kid in the background will just be dressed as Quail Man.
Did you see the other part in part 2 of that episode with the one-ana Jack Bandit?
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
See, that was another thing. Patrick, you just saying that, I was like, no, that triggered something. I know what that is, even if I couldn't describe it.
It's Pavlovian, yeah. And the nematode, you could all do the nematode call, right?
Oh, God.
How's that? Is that
your drawing of Patrick is a little not quite as good.
Not as
I
good.
love that your mouth is shaped like a heart, though.
Yeah.
That's very telling.
Well, I started drawing that before I started drawing me.
I see that drawing of you and I just think, well, that's Patrick. I don't know. It just is Patrick to me.
Now draw me.
Whereas Wade, who's a very, very talented drawer.
No.
Well, okay. I think that you are, or at least you were. You could like actually capture how people look and how things look.
Isn't it something like that? And then there's like a head underneath it.
See this? See that, Patrick? Look at that.
Well,
draw that.
I think that's right.
Yeah, something like that. It's just like a dust ball with I don't know, a vague face underneath.
Yeah, kind of like a pig pen.
Something like that.
Just a cloud of dust.
It has been a year since my last shower.
All right. So Doug appeared on TV.
I just think it's funny that you just accepted that like it was real. Okay, go ahead. Appear on TV.
I thought this would be a quick episode.
He was wrong.
So Doug, but way before there were any conversations about turning Doug into a TV show, Jim Jinkins is like, I got a hot commodity here with this Doug character. I just got to find something to do with him. And so he first appeared in a series of commercials for the Florida Grapefruit Growers Concern. And
please tell me you got one of those queued up for us.
Let's go ahead and take a look with
hell yeah,
narrated by Lorenzo Music, the voice of Garfield.
What does grapefruit juice have in common with a palm tree? They're both grown in Florida. Of course, grapefruit juice doesn't sway in the wind, but it does feel like a cool breeze. Sure, palm trees are cool and refreshing, but grapefruit juice is cool and refreshing and is much better for your health than a palm tree, which is fortunate because grapefruit juice is filled with fun and lively things you could never get from a palm tree. So for a cool, refreshing taste, leave the palm trees on the beach and drink grapefruit juice on the rocks. 100% pure Florida grapefruit juice.
So
it doesn't have to be Garfield. The sound of Lorenzo Music's voice is fucking hilarious to me.
I for sure would have known that if you hadn't said it and you would ask me who this is, I for sure, because Garfield and Friends was the best.
Yeah,
I did watch that a lot.
He voiced Bill Murray's character on Ghostbusters. He voiced Peter Venkman. He was the if you can't afford Bill Murray, you get him. And so when they did the live action Garfield movie, they hired Bill Murray.
Wow, it all goes round and round.
It really does. And so then he appeared in one more thing. He appeared in a bumper for the USA Network, and we also got to meet Pork Chop for the first time. All right,
wow.
So that's Doug. He's immortal. He's like the Great Ones by H.P. Lovecraft. You know, he's sort of an eternal being. No beginning and no end.
As I will now and forever think of him.
Same with Pork Chop. As for somebody who is infamously not a dog person at all, Pork Chop is pretty cute.
Oh, he's a good dog.
We should get some T-shirts made.
Yeah,
Pork Chop is eternal.
Pork Chop didn't do anything wrong.
Pork Chop didn't do anything wrong. Listen to me. There's no other choice. I know what I'm doing. Pork Chop didn't do anything wrong. There's no other choice. What?
If you recall the Christmas special where they're going to execute Pork Chop because they think that he bit BB Bluff and tried to drown her. And so they put him on trial for his life in the Christmas special.
That was the Christmas episode?
Yeah. Because it happens at wintertime.
That's still Nintendo Disney? I mean,
it's Nickelodeon.
Nintendo Disney.
Nintendo Disney. I knew what he meant.
Yeah. No, I told you I was tired.
I don't always know. Like when you said dummy and you meant mummy, or no, the opposite.
No, you don't always know, but you speak Patrick better than anybody else.
Oh, thank you, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah. All right. So Jim Jinkins' future producing partner, David Campbell, encouraged him to develop the character into a children's book. So they put a book proposal together called Doug Got a New Pair of Shoes. Sounds riveting. The book was rejected by every major publisher, but it did get the attention of Vanessa Coffey, an executive at Viacom. She was put in charge of Nickelodeon's program to develop their own cartoons in-house. So Nickelodeon, it had been around for a long time, but they didn't produce their own content. They just, licensed it, but they wanted to produce their own cartoons. So she solicited pitches from artists all around LA and New York, and she was submitted. So she met with Jim Jinkins, and she instantly ordered a pilot from him. The pilot was Doug Can't Dance, an 8-minute pilot that ultimately aired as in chronological order of the series. It's the second episode, though it aired first and was the first thing ever produced for the show. But this is also a very important moment in the history of animation in America, because at the same time you have the Disney Renaissance going on with The Little Mermaid making theatrical animation a huge business again. And then on TV, you have The Simpsons being the first primetime, like for adults animated sitcom to be a success. And then on kids TV, whereas in the 80s, you had a lot of garbage that was just meant to sell toys. Suddenly we're getting original artist driven shows for kids like Tiny Toons and Animaniacs and Batman the Animated Series. And then on Nickelodeon, they wanted what they said was they wanted to go in the complete opposite direction of what kids' cartoons were at the time, which is you start with toys and then you build a show around how to sell toys. And so they looked for pitches from artists. And I think a very interesting decision they made was they didn't want the shows to have a cohesive style, or they didn't want their different shows to look like each other. They wanted every single show that they aired to look different from the others, which is kind of the opposite of what networks wanted. They wanted, like, if you scroll past the Disney Channel, you'll see whatever you see, you know it's a Disney cartoon. But with Nickelodeon, they wanted every single thing they put on TV to look very distinct. Okay, so
is that also a result of them trying to look for shows that were premise first and merchandising later?
I think it was like it started with the idea of like if shows are built around selling toys, what is the opposite we can do? And the opposite thing we do is like empower the artist, the literal like cartoonist. Like even before having like a traditional like showrunner or write traditional TV scripts, we'll just like empower a cartoonist and say, what would your show look like if we gave you complete creative control? And they commissioned 8 pilots in total, including the 3 that they ultimately bought, the pilots for Doug, for Rugrats, and for Ren and Stimpy. And Jim Jinkins had to fill out the world of Doug. He filled it out with people that he grew up with. And like he said, quote, yeah, there was a real Patty in my life who I had a massive crush on forever. And Jam! And there was a guy down the street named Roger who lived next door to a family whose name was Klotz. So I sort of put that together. The best teacher I ever had in my life was Miss Wingo. So she got to be in the show. Everybody in the show, basically, there is a real life counterpart that he grew up with in Richmond.
That's cool. I had no idea it was supposed to be Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, me neither.
Wow.
It was very important for him that every episode have a moral, and a very clear moral, or at least a lesson.
So even early on, they knew that they wanted to name him Roger Klotz. Because I thought it was weird how, like, at least 2 times he calls Doug a klutz. You know, I thought that was too close to his name, like Klotz.
Yeah, he says that.
So I was thinking maybe they didn't know his name was Klotz yet.
I don't know if maybe he hadn't named Roger Klotz at that point. Because it is weird that he says Klutz twice and his name is Klotz. But maybe his name wasn't Klotz yet. It was just Roger.
Maybe it was Roger Clocks.
Maybe it was Roger Clocks. It's like how they didn't know on The Simpsons that Ralph Wiggum was Chief Wiggum's son for a long time before they realized, oh, we could put them together. All right. So the a really great thing about the show is the music of the show. And that was hugely influenced by Fred Newman, who is the voice of Skeeter. He also scats the theme song. And Jim Jinkins said, quote, I love fooling with different sounds, taking a conventional type of music, but spinning it by throwing in some weird instrument. Fred Newman showed me how you could take out a guitar and use a tuna can filled with water that you'd thump with your finger, end quote. So I threw in that quote just for Wade, who also likes to do weird shit with instruments.
Love it.
Doug Can't Dance was one of the 3 pilots that they were commissioned out of 8. And the creators of these shows were given a huge amount of creative control and legal control. The shows were not produced by Nickelodeon's in-house studio. The creators of these shows got to set up their own production companies and produce them largely with their autonomy. So he started Jumbo Pictures and had it in his contract clause that if Nickelodeon chose not to renew their agreement with him, that he could shop Doug to a new network.
For those of you listening, by the way, not watching on YouTube, Matt is recalling all of this with his eyes closed. It is truly a thing to behold.
I go into like a little like fugue state.
Goes into a little trance.
Doggy started on the USA Network bumper.
Downloads the information and it comes through to you.
I have an important update. This is Matt from 5 days after the record. Editing the video and just looking up graphics to put into the video, I stumbled upon an amazing discovery. And it's this. Okay, so Doug Can't Dance is the pilot for Doug. Now, pilot has a variety of definitions in TV lingo. Sometimes the pilot is just something that's going to be used internally for the studio, and maybe they'll show focus groups and just see, is this like a proof of concept? Are we going to order this to series? And sometimes they will then use the pilot episode and broadcast it on TV, but sometimes it will never be broadcast on TV. They will just go to the series and sort of disregard the original pilot. That's the case with Rugrats. Rugrats had a pilot called Tommy Pickles and the Great White Thing, where Tommy gets obsessed with a toilet and he has a different voice than he eventually has on the series. Chucky is not there. Otherwise, it's pretty similar to the show, but that never aired as part of the actual show. The first episode of Rugrats is not actually the pilot. But with Doug, they did air Doug Can't Dance as the first episode. However, they needed to add additional material onto it. And so the entire scene with Skeeter teaching Doug how to dance and getting wound up, the triumph of animation that section is, that was all added additionally. Now, I can't find, this is according to the Doug fandom Wikia, and it's not sourced, but it really seems to be correct because Skeeter's design looks very similar to the way he's designed in the rest of the series. And I saw some promotional images, including a cell from the Doug pilot of all the characters at the dance, and Skeeter is there and he looks very, very different and he has an O on his shirt. And then I saw another congratulations, Nicktoons a big success. And it's a promo still or a promo drawing of the major characters from Doug, and Skeeter looks very different than he does on the actual show. So I think that is true. I think that the scene of Skeeter teaching Doug how to dance was added and that Skeeter originally had a different design. You are very welcome for this very important information. It ran for 52 episodes over 3 years. Rarely did Nickelodeon go beyond 52 episodes. They would only do that for a mega hit, as they would with Rugrats. Though the initial breakout hit was Ren and Stimpy. That was like a phenomenon when it started. And then they had a lot of trouble with the show's creator, John Chris Falusi, who's like a notoriously maniac and troubled man and a bad person to work with. And he was having trouble turning in episodes of the show. So Ren and Stimpy came out very irregularly, and Rugrats ultimately became the big hit.
I remember being very, very excited for the Doug's movie.
Did you see it? You said that you didn't follow Doug to Nickelodeon.
No, but I did definitely saw the movie.
Okay.
Or Nintendo. When do you think the movie came out?
99.
You sure it was after? Okay. Well, still, I was excited about the movie. How much money did it make, Matt?
I don't know how much money.
Close your
Not
eyes
that
and
much, I
access
don't think.
Part of your memory. Oh yeah, the Dogo filme. Yeah, right.
That's the French poster for Doug's first movie.
They gave her a haircut, yeah.
What in the shit are we looking at?
All right, so in September of 1996, remember I said that Jumbo Pictures had the deal where if Nickelodeon didn't re-up, he could go to a different network. So he did. He went to Disney. Disney was trying to launch their block of programming of Saturday morning kids cartoons on the ABC network, which Disney bought in the mid-90s. So one Saturday morning would have as its anchor show Doug. But I think Jim Jinkins and Disney were worried people wouldn't understand that this isn't just reruns of the Nickelodeon show that's been running for all of the 90s.
This isn't your grandpa's Doug.
Yeah, so they had to make it a little different. Also, times are changing. The late 90s, things are getting a little extreme. So they call it brand spanking new Doug.
They made him a fan of new metal.
All of the characters have really, really baggy clothes. And Patty,
especially those live action ones.
We're also looking at on the slide the stage show from Disney MGM Studios.
Wow.
Does not look like something I want to watch.
Yeah.
Looks like something I would want to avoid watching.
I remember going to this stage show at MGM Studios. The auditorium, in my memory, had like 50,000 people in it. I'm sure in reality it was 35 people. But before the show starts, like, they have an MC come out and he's just doing Doug trivia, and me way in the back, I'm answering every single question correctly. And I remember it as like a great and proud moment for me. I'm sure it was the most annoying thing in the world.
Did you finish up with "Bring him back to Nickelodeon"?
No, I didn't understand. In my head at the time, it's like, no, Doug's good on Nickelodeon. Doug's also good here. Love that Doug.
Your parents still call me once in a while to reminisce about that day that you won the MGM Studios Doug Trivia Challenge.
Oh, so I wasn't wrong. It was a good day. They were proud of me finally.
They were very, very proud.
Disney's Doug actually has more episodes than Nickelodeon's Doug, and then it got the theme park show and a theatrical film. So, as I said, we have to. It's the late 90s. Things are extreme, so they have the weird challenge of how do we make Doug the squarest character in the show about morals and how everything's gonna be okay. How do we make it a little more radical? We'll watch the intro in a second, but they did some redesigns of the characters. All the clothes are baggier, and Disney cheaped out and didn't want to pay Billy West to voice Roger and Doug, so they instead hired new actors to play Doug and Roger. I watched an episode of Disney's Doug last night. In my memory, Doug's voice was like, "Hey, I'm Doug Funnie. Hello, Patty. I have a crush on you. I hope you don't know that."
They got Vin Diesel to voice him?
Yeah, they got Vin Diesel. But in reality, it sounds like somebody just kind of trying to do a Billy West impression.
Patty Mayonnaise is always going to be a part of my family.
Patty, where are the drugs, Patty? Where are the drugs? All right, let's watch the opening to Disney's Doug.
Already hate it.
He's got a fucking skull on his journal. Pork chops on a motorcycle. Oh, badass. Skeeter's skating. BB has a cell phone.
Roger's got his hair gelled back. Is Patty's hair shorter?
Yeah, it's shorter. They gave her a... Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's not wearing a skirt anymore. Huh?
I don't dislike it.
But they took, I mean, we all agree, like the Doug theme song is like magical. It's instantly iconic, and it's so special because it's not using instruments, it's just using a guy's mouth, and they replace it with something kind of generic with just like conventional, I don't know, cartoon sounding instruments.
With very intentional and calculated callbacks to the original theme that nevertheless leaves me cold.
Yeah, you're just like, I remember the old theme.
The old theme, as Patrick alluded to earlier, was a song that none of us had heard in close to 20 years, and yet as soon as it started, we knew every note, every sound that was about to happen.
Bing, bing. I
even remember that really creepy thing. So the song is very good, and I also really like the visuals too of the theme song. With the line that keeps moving in different ways. But I'll tell you what always creeped me out as a kid is, okay, so Roger pulls on the thing and it makes a circle around him, and so they fall into like a pit, him and his cat, and then Doug just walks by and takes that line up and throws it away. So like Roger and his cat are stuck in this pit, like the pit has been sealed off and they're stuck in it forever.
Yeah, they're just damned.
I think that explains Roger's problem with Doug throughout the whole show. Is during the credits, Doug just
it's very creepy.
Put him in fucking limbo.
You sent me to hell, Funnie. I legitimately found it somewhat traumatizing as a kid. I don't like that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't care that you sent me to hell, Funnie, but my cat.
Now that was very good. That was the impression of the night so far.
Wade can do these Billy West voices. He also does an incredible Doug. Go ahead, Wade.
One little voice.
I could do better. You got to give me some time to warm up.
Okay.
More pathetic, more like inner hatred.
Oh man.
Yep, pretty good.
There it is.
There you go.
All right, we're going to talk about the Doug pilot now. Doug Can't Dance. This originally aired August 11th, 1991. In the Doug show, there's an episode called Doug Bags a Nematode, which aired the following week.
1, 2, 3, 4, banging on a trash can.
If you would like to hear the rest of the episode, go to patreon.com/loadbearingbeams and sign up for our Patreon for $5 a month, Load Bearing Beams Collector's Edition, and hear the rest of Wade and Patrick and I discussing 2 episodes of Doug.